You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Woohoo! Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I am Rodney Rogers. That right there is my partner, co-chief in crime, Mike the Muttley.
Rodney, it's good to see you tonight.
Man himself. It's good to see you, brother.
I'm going to hold this all night long.
I like how you're actually.
Different.
Looks like you're just about ready to say the coolest thing in the world and then drop the mic.
I have something to tell you.
Do you? What's that?
No, but
Okay, yeah. It's like, yeah, you know that
you
know
bought,
you're
you
about to
bought,
get
bought
serious.
right into it, didn't
You're like,
you?
hey, yeah, bought that over. So this is mine and Mike's 3-year, 1-hour vacation. We've been doing it for 3 years, 1 hour at a time. We plan on doing this for quite a while. This will be our third Christmas. Next couple of weeks, we'll have a Christmas special. We got something. I'm going to put us on the line and say we got something special planned. You can reach us in a couple different ways. First way you can reach us is obviously you can talk right directly to us at 262-345-7763. That'll ring into my phone. It'll go through some kind of magic over there that Mike does in his technological section. And then we'll get to speak to you. You can also hashtag us at RROR if you're on Twitter. Shoot us a question. That'll shoot straight to Mike. We can answer that question right away. Mm-hmm. And you can also text us. I heard a thump. Was that something that wasn't me?
Things vibrate around here.
Yeah.
I think it actually was you, maybe.
Was it me? Okay, let me solve that. And you can also text us on the Rodney Rogers Outdoors hotline, 262-345-7763. That will shoot right to us. We'll get that as well.
Or you can just show up at 930
North
Abracadabra
Drive. What you call it? What's the Kansas? And then that's tons of ways to see it. Like I said, this is our 1 hour vacation, and this is what we love doing. And of course,
say that again. I love doing this.
We just absolutely love it.
I love hanging out with you. I love hanging out with the people that we hung out this weekend.
Man, what a weekend, Mike Cole. I don't even have to ask what you did this weekend.
No. Or
vice versa. I think we pretty much know. If you follow us on any kind of social media, you pretty much saw how many people are still posting pictures. And I still haven't even posted mine. Do we have an album on the Rodney Rogers Outdoors everybody can dump? I don't know how that works. I mean, you'd have to explain that magic. If they dump it in, or do we just pick it up? Or
yeah, right now the best way is for people to put it on to load it to your Facebook page like they've been doing.
Okay, so they have been doing it?
Yep.
I've been seeing it. I just don't know how it works.
Yeah. There's a lot of people uploading it straight to the event.
Right.
On the Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
That
Good,
way we can kind of pick and choose, and probably eventually all of them are just going to be dumped onto the website for archive and posterity's sake, you know.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into meat potatoes, man. We had a lot of people show up this weekend.
Third annual.
Break
it down.
Rodney Rogers. You can see it right there on Mike's shirt. RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. Rodney Rogers Outdoors Christmas camping trip. Mike and I started this 3 years ago, and I know 3 years is not a long time, but we can't wait for the fourth year. And most of our first-year campers were there. Actually, all of them were.
They were.
Yeah. Everybody that camped the first year was there this year. A couple missed last year, but, Stacy and Manny been there all 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was Manny's first time camping, and so now he's an official camper.
So from 7
to
35
to the second year, we had 35
to 70.
To 70.
How do you do the math to figure out when we're camping in the arena, the Amway Center?
We're gonna have to be at the what's that called? The Camping World. What's the new arena's name? Camping World Stadium or whatever it is. We're gonna be. Yeah. That would be awesome, man. That would only be too good to be true. So we had 70 this year. Man, my gosh. And when I say 70 people, I don't mean just – this was 70 people that got along that, hey, you got salt pepper? You got salt pepper? Hey, you got an extra pillow? You got an extra tent? I mean, I had somebody come and ask me I always carry brand new socks. I brought 4 brand new pairs of socks in my camping trip, and I ended up with none. Some people, it got a little chilly, and everybody had sandals. So we're like, you need socks, you need socks. So the next thing I know, I have no socks. So I got blisters on my feet from my Crocs. I got Crocs. It's okay. Shut up. So,
you working on a new sponsor?
Working on a Croc sponsor. I'm Rodney the alligator man who wears Crocs. I mean, what else other shoe?
That's very appropriate.
Get me an alligator shoe and I'll wear that. An alligator sandal. So, I mean, it was just everybody gelled so well. I mean, it was literally, you remember back in the old days when you had neighbors and you could your mom would go, hey, run over to so-and-so's house and see if they got milk. And that's exactly what it was. We didn't take food for everybody. But I always plan on cooking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a matter of, and I know in our group, if we're cooking, come eat.
Yeah.
Well,
it was very neighborly. Matter of fact, we were in our tent one night, and Kim is calling the neighbor to ask to borrow some sugar.
Your neighbor wasn't answering, was it?
And Rodney, they were home. We could see him out the window. They were home.
You could see them.
I could see them.
And they wouldn't answer.
Wouldn't even answer.
Oh, those dirty dogs. That's those neighbors that really don't like you, Mike. When the neighbor comes over and you hear, you go, get out. Nobody move. You don't move.
Yeah, you think they can see you moving through the peephole.
Right. Exactly. You wrench up that. So, but we didn't have those kind of neighbors this weekend.
No, we didn't.
Everybody wore themselves absolutely out this weekend.
We had some...
We had, someone had asked me, what kind of activities did you have this weekend?
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, if you didn't find an activity this weekend, that is your own fault. No, I didn't have a sign saying, hey, come over here, there's kayaks. Come over here. The kayaks were wide open. The airboat wasn't wide open. I don't think only one guy there knew how to drive the airboat. Yeah. That was the guy who owned it. We had kayaks, we had canoes, we had, you name it, we had it. It's just...
Well, you had a whole island to yourself, so have a ball.
But hiking.
I
I think most everybody hiked, I believe, at one point in time. Some people may not have. If you didn't enjoy that beautiful island, I'm going to tell you what, man, you cheated yourself. You really did. The weekend couldn't be more beautiful. You counted the tents. How many tents did we have total?
26 tents. I counted 3 times just to confirm.
Okay, so we had 26 tents setups. One of them was the Taj Mahal. It had a front porch, Randy's tent, actually. It slept 36. I think he had a whole village in his tent.
There might have been 6 people in there the whole week we never saw. I think.
He probably had them stuffed back in the corner. This is one of my favorite pictures. This was H.P. Hollow Point.
Yeah.
He was up there fishing on the dock, and the sun was just right, and I just happened to snap that picture, and I just thought, man, what an absolute gorgeous shot. The guy in the picture, not so much, but the shot altogether.
Well, even more so, he was catching things. Right?
He was the only guy that caught a bass this weekend, fishing right there from the dock where 300 other people fished.
Yeah, I saw him post that on his YouTube page or his Facebook page.
That's an attest to the fisherman. Oh, look at that goofy look on that guy's face. He's like, what's going on over there? What's going on? What happened was, who's taking a picture? So, tons of hiking trails. I mean, and so much to see here. I mean, there was absolutely so much to see. I was making walking sticks for the kids that were there.
Yeah.
When you hand a kid a walking stick, you got one of two things. They're either going to walk or beat the crap out of somebody.
Right.
You really don't know which way this is going to go. Thankfully, they walked most of the weekend.
It was gorgeous out there, swamp. I mean, I'm blasting through some pictures here, and these are mostly the ones that I took. There's a few more in here, but on the Facebook page, we're getting so many good pictures uploaded. And if you were there this week and have them, please post them up to the Rodney Rogers.
Yeah, jam us out with
page.
Yeah. Stuff us with your pictures.
People are dying to see, from other people's perspective. We gathered our own firewood.
Yes,
for the most part.
We found a couple dead trees out there, and I got to thank the county for taking care of us.
Yeah.
They cleaned up the bathrooms. They made sure it was primed and ready to go for us.
Well, they pre-stocked us with a ton of firewood,
and they pre-stocked us with a ton of firewood. So, and we went through it all, and then we had to go get some more firewood, actually. And we, there was an old dead tree back there, and you can see us here just lugging it on, cleaning up the property, so to speak. We're getting all the riffraff as far as the firewood goes. We were getting that out of there. And, and I was wondering, I was like, man, I don't know if we got pictures of the tent. Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, we did a lot of pictures of the tents.
Because I'll tell you the truth, I didn't take a lot of pictures. Once I put my phone down,
Yeah.
it was a matter of it was either do what I was doing, be a host, do some cooking, and not entertain, but I wanted to see how everybody felt, to make sure everybody was having a great time. I wanted them to know how welcome they were to the island, and that everything under that pavilion was theirs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I know it all wasn't mine to give, but I did. I would have bought it all and handed it out.
And remember that next year, because it's going to be the same way.
Yeah, it's going to be the
Take
same
that.
way. If you're parked under that pavilion, your
bring-
stuff is getting given away.
That's right. I agree.
So don't give us funny looks when someone comes up and
This is one of my favorite pictures of the weekend, Rodney.
where the
There's so many ways to try to explain this photograph.
like it ain't going to fit,
Well,
Sometimes you just don't have enough real estate in your tent.
I still haven't swallowed how I feel about inflatable mattresses on a camping trip.
Right.
But I guess they have their place. But I think Target had a run on inflatable mattresses.
Oh yeah, we put some people out of business
Yeah.
for tents and camping.
And this is Randy looking at this tent, and actually inside that tent with the air mattress is Nick.
Yeah,
He's actually in there trying to figure out how to
Like
arrange the furniture to get this.
like a chipmunk trying to put all the nuts in his mouth. You know what I mean? He's just like, I can get it. And Randy's like, oh, Nick, I don't think you're going to get it. I just don't think it's going to happen. And this, the fireplace, man, was absolutely comforting. The only thing I think that thing needs is about 3 layers of bricks taken off. I mean, it really does. It's a little too high, in my opinion, but it was a beautiful fireplace. Huge pit. It was the gathering spot every single night. We came across some armadillos. You know what? Even the people that just randomly came up to the island had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Hung out with us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm talking probably 6, 8, 10 people.
Well, one of those random pictures, random people took our group photo.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right, and took our group.
I think he took my wallet too, but that's a whole nother story. But
Them random peoples, you can't trust them.
so next year, I do believe we're having the armadillo wrestling contest.
The roundup.
The round.
We'll call it the Dilla Roundup. Roundadilla. I'm working here, Mike. Work with me. We're having a Dilla round.
You're
Dilla
kidding.
Yeah.
You're kidding, but this is
might be something.
write that down,
Yeah, or we're having a roundadilla up, man.
kids, and everybody's included in this one. But
So-
Nico showed us stuff by capturing
That's
several.
actually a cool picture.
he actually
That's a
caught several
great
of those
shot.
Little bad boys.
I mean, I think it's the say the least. We had tents decorated. We had 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9 tents decorated. I mean, you could see there we had Christmas lights hanging from trees. The fire was just blaring. The second night, the fire was awesome. I mean,
I'm not so sure. We didn't lose a couple people.
I think we
It was
did.
burning
actually.
like
It was
it was raw meat burning in there or something.
not sure if that was directly from the grounds below.
Manny, I think, became the firekeeper, and he
I'll tell you what.
outdid himself.
He definitely had a fire. That man knows. He is like 5, 8 years into a profession. He's a professional fire guy.
He's got it down.
And I don't mean a fire guy that puts the fires out. I mean the one that starts them. So if there's a big, I'm not so sure he wasn't in Tennessee last weekend
Right.
starting fires. You know what I'm saying? So the strap. Last year, Russ's, the picture on the left in red is Russ Rollins from 104.1, and this is his second year, and we got to thank his girlfriend Wendy for bringing him out. The first year he came out, he was very apprehensive. He was like, "Man, I don't know. I'm above. I get my feet, And now he is like full blown camper. Russ has reached his camper status this year. I think he's officially a camper because anytime you come up, he's got the setup. He's got he's got his wagons, his tents.
Well,
and
not only that, but he's bringing along more people,
And he's
so
bringing
when you
along-
Point, you've
That's
got the first jitters out, and you're bringing along more people for the ride.
I've been making a statement here, and I want to talk about that strap. So that last year, some of his family members, his cousins, and stuff, brought this strap. So we brought one this year, and where you walk this strap, And man, that is a fun thing to do. Did you walk the track?
I'm going to say I didn't, Rodney.
Oh man, I wish
Somebody's got to take the photos. I'm sticking
It's always
with that
got to be the photographer. And you see little Gary on the right-hand side in a lower picture. I did a slow-mo of him, and it was the best kung fu artistry you have ever. I mean, he was just slow. I did it in slow-mo, and it was an unbelievable kung fu artist that you can't even imagine. So, yeah, that strap is worth its weight in gold. That is actually pretty awesome. So some people made it from pole to tree to pole, whatever, back and forth. Oh, well,
some people didn't.
And some people didn't. Wah, 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 wah. But one of the things that I was saying is, you know, when you look at this, and children are always welcome, and we love focusing on the children. But I'll tell you one of the things that I've learned what we need to do is start focusing a little bit more on the adults that have gotten away from stuff that they used to do. Because if we can't get the adults to enjoy the environment, they're not bringing the children. Yeah. You know what I mean? So somehow we have to incorporate the two.
Yeah, and I think there's some of that going on.
And that was my point.
You know,
we definitely hammered that this weekend.
You provide the opportunity for, again, a comfortable environment where a lot of the things you might have forgotten, or just come, do your best, show up.
Yeah,
trust me, you're going to be fine.
Absolutely.
I thought it was interesting though. You talked about. I actually had some video of my own and kind of compiled a little bit. I thought you might be interested in
of course
this.
I am.
If you'll just
humor you.
Humor me, Rodney, please.
I shall humor you, Mike.
Going downhill would be easier, but getting up that high. Yeah.
Mike Coy. I think I just laughed so hard I almost passed out.
That's fun.
I thought he was going to have to give me CPR
There's
there.
something about getting to the other side. It's that goal.
It was
The ominous goal of
it was the other side.
crossing.
I think when I made it, I actually fell on top of you. So I'm not sure how legit that was.
Yeah, that was good stuff. You know what else was interesting, though, is you hid things around the island.
I did, actually. I did. I put up the GPS location of my survival bracelet that I was wearing.
Oh, yeah.
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 Which was actually very, very handy that weekend. And so I said, well, you know what? I actually hung it off that tree that you're looking back there. And I put up the GPS locations. It was the waypoints and our latitude and longitude, and somebody found the bracelet. I never found out who found it.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, you hid some shirts, too.
I did hid some shirts, and I don't know who found those.
Well, I didn't either, but people have been posting things, and I think there was people who had shirts that I don't know that we gave them to, but I think we figured out one of them.
Well, yeah, the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bear had the shirt. Yes, that's who found the shirts.
So
yeah,
I think we're onto something, right?
Good call there. We anytime you keep a bald bear, he might have been a little bald in the back. We can keep him warm. That's the best way to go.
Silly bear.
Yeah, silly bear. So we had a great time. A fun time was had by all. This is our first year of official outdoor Rodney Rogers Outdoors Christmas shirts. If you notice, they're not dated.
Yeah.
You know what?
Get used to these.
Somehow I'd like to put a patch or a mark, like an arrowhead on the sleeve. First year, second year, third year camper.
Like
Yeah.
stripes, like your general stripes. That'd
Yeah,
be a good
general
way to do
stripe.
it.
Yeah. Some kind of that'd be cool.
That'd be a cool way
Yeah.
of doing it. Yeah.
So maybe
Give a shout out here to the
So thank you, Todd and Dawn. They actually worked their butts off to get these shirts done by the actual the time that we had to give them away.
true.
So basically, I gave shirts away to the Friday night campers. So I didn't know how many people were going to show up.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that the Friday night campers, and I know I didn't advertise Friday night. I think I verbally said, Friday night is intimate night. If you want to show up, great. So, the people that were there Friday night. So if you were there and you like, man, I wish I would have got a shirt, send us an email. We'll give you the shirts at cost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it's like $24, $25.
Yeah.
And that would include shipping. I'll ship it out to you.
Yeah, because there's some hard work that went into making those shirts, and there's a
Certainly
hard
was.
bottom cost for it.
Yeah. I mean, we had 30 shirts. They're all gone.
Yeah.
I think I ended up with like a shirt or two left over, honestly.
Well, we went into the weekend prior, and we gave some shout outs. But I don't want to let this go again. What you're looking at here is the boat that
hauled 140 people.
Yeah.
It hauled everybody twice.
Plus luggage.
I
think the luggage doubled the amount of actually what went over.
That's it. One guy would come in with enough luggage to support the whole island. Yeah.
And
so thank you, Randy, my nephew Randy, who absolutely was a gentleman and a scholar. I got so many complaints. I'm not complaints. Compliments.
About the driver?
That's a fine driver. That's a fine word there. That driver, he wouldn't take it. But my nephew Randy carted. He's the gentleman that carted you back and forth. Yeah. So definitely give him a shout out on Facebook or whatever. He did a phenomenal job. Yeah, we will have a couple boats next year.
Unsung hero of the weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was.
That man was
as a matter of fact, our last trip off the island, he looks at me and he goes, he looks at me and says, "Hey, I heard you guys had a camping trip this weekend." So he would get back to the island in time enough to get naps and sleeps before people were loading their stuff up on the boat.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, ready to go home. There was a guy, I guess, jonesing for some cigarettes. He was out of cigarettes all night, and he woke up and immediately ran to the boat and was like hovering. Randy didn't wake up till 10.
Yeah, a lot of unsung heroes, and the core. Your Your family has become family. To
Yeah,
me, and
Todd
this-
hooked. This is Todd. He hooked us up on the weekend. He took care of the island for us. He put us extra toilet tissue on the island, make sure the bathrooms were clean. He worked for the county, so thank you so much, Todd. And
He's a comfort blanket, in my opinion.
yes, and Dawn and Gary and my sister Marie and Randy right here. You can just see the look on Randy's face right there. If one more person comes to this island, we're all living here forever. Little Gary's laughing at him like, ha, 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 you just hauled 140 people back and forth.
There's an I told you so in there somewhere.
It sure is. And here was our first group pick. I tried to get a group pick before everybody left. I didn't know everybody would take off so early. This was literally 20 people had left before we took this pick. Yeah. And then this was like 10:30 in the morning. And there were still people hiking around the island, you know.
Yeah, we just did our best at some point to
Yeah, exactly.
shout it out.
So that's a lot of people. And this is the second pick where some people left that were in the first picture, and we got the hikers that were hiking on the second picture. So we got a couple group picks. I mean, it was just, you know what, Mike, and here you and I are. I mean, this is to me, this isn't a test that we got. This is what we've wanted this whole time, is just to get people outdoors.
Those pictures mean more to me than you
can even
realize,
know. Yeah, this is a 10-pound bass right here. I mean, it really is.
It absolutely is.
I mean, this says a lot. You know, to get this many people to coordinate and just have so much fun. I mean, you can't pay for this. You know, and there was no cost in coming to the island. I mean, there was.
Yeah, like I said, that was an island full of good people.
Yeah, and other than you grabbing your. This is the only time we spend so much money to act like homeless people, Mike. You realize that, right? We spend hundreds of dollars to. This was our entry to the island, so this is like old home pics, It is. When you pull your phone out and you go, "Hey, come here, I'm gonna show you something, boys." Back in my day, Mackinson Island used to be a zoo, so I mean, this is the oak trees that you see are just grandfather oaks and just absolutely amazing. Whoo, Mike, absolutely.
Well, as always, whenever we have an event like this, we sit around and we're gonna just chat about it, and I'm not going to blame ourselves if that's what tonight ends up being. But we do have some top news. We have a few viewer mails. If we can get to them,
let's do them, man. Let's jam them out.
Move forward a little bit. What do you know about snook closing in the Gulf waters
and the Atlantic?
And the Atlantic
should be Atlantic as well. Did you see that part?
You say so. I go by the Rodney Rogers manual. So
December 15th. Yeah, they are officially closed on December 1st on the Gulf. And they will be closing. Oh, there you go, December 1st, right there. They will be closing on the 15th in the Atlantic. So run over there and get your snook on the Atlantic side before. Man, look at that fish, Mike. We've not done snook fishing yet. I mean, I've done it, but I think I personally have not went out there and chased it.
Yeah, it's true that.
That is an amazing, amazing fish, man.
Good eating, I'm assuming, as always.
You don't even know how good that is. If you knew how good that is, you would drink the water he swam in.
I would, really.
Well, you wouldn't live long, but man, only fish can drink that water. So, yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead with your top news, brother.
No, we're doing good. FWC has actually released 2 new videos for their Living with Florida Black Bear series.
Okay.
They're doing a really good job on this, and just to give you a sample, I've got one here. We won't watch the whole thing because it's probably going to put me in jail for copyright reasons or something, but just to give you an idea. That's all you get, I guess.
That's it. And then the new Florida State record of the chitchlid.
Whoa!
I've caught bigger chitchlid than that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a runaway train.
And if you're going to hold a chitchlid, that's how you hold your chitchlid right there, dog. If you want to hold your chitchlid to show somebody, that is you get your thumb around your chitchlid.
But yeah, now that we've ruined it. So black bears, they've got this whole thing out for black bears and...
Oh, my. You're determined.
It's background music at this point.
At this point.
Do we care about this? I've got really mixed emotions.
Yes.
On when I was reading through the Florida Black Bears, and it's
right.
I mean, because on one hand,
I count the reasons. I could stay-
Conservation.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean,
versus this is more of a lifestyle. It's a very interesting fine line.
well, this is
to
that
me.
line where we have to, coexist with these animals. So this is where management has to come into play. We may not get to hunt them for another 15 years or whatever, or conservation management. This is where we have to study these environments and learn how to coexist with these guys. I mean, it's inevitable. We have to do it. I mean, we 100% have to be able to.
You think people like in Wisconsin are just laughing at us?
Probably. They got
Michigan.
way more bears, and we just.
I mean, this is the way of Alaska. Forget about Alaska and Canada.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people in some parts of the country, this is standard fare.
Well, we just don't have a
years now.
sustainable population to hunt these things every year.
So I guess that's where it's coming from. Is this is kind of a new thing that's snuck up on us very gradually as we've rebuilt the bear population.
Absolutely.
So we have to teach people how to keep your lids on your garbage can.
And exactly.
I mean, it sounds sarcastic, but that's really what it is, right?
That's it, my man.
So, but if you go to the FWC website, type in the word bear. But they're on YouTube, and you can see 6 videos that they have. And I think we spoiled the surprise, but yes, Rodney, there is a new world record and a phone call.
I'll let you pick that up.
And the phone call gets priority over the world record.
Absolutely.
Rodney.
So is it a world record or a
State
floor record?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you for calling Rodney Rogers Outdoors. This is Rodney.
Hey, Rodney, how's it going? It's Ivan.
Hey, Ivan, how are you, my man?
Good. Is Mike there as well?
He is on all ears.
Standing by.
So
How's it going?
Good, man. So for those of you who don't know, this is Ivan. He did an outdoor opinions with us with the Glock. So Ivan, welcome to the show, my brother. Hadn't heard from you in a while.
I know. How's it been, gentlemen? Good?
Good, man. So what you got for us, Ivan?
Well, my birthday's coming up this Friday, and my brother-in-law's birthday's Thursday.
Happy birthday.
I have no idea. Thank you. I was like, I have no idea what to get you, man. What do you want to do? And he was like, well, let's go fishing. So I'm like, I haven't been fishing in like 15 years, so I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay.
And he wants to go saltwater fishing, but we're going to go to like the Cocoa area right off of the, I guess the bridge where the rocks are.
Right.
What do I need to get?
Okay.
Or where should I start? Something basic, a basic setup.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a couple things for you. I'm going to tell you what your hardware should be. And right after you hang up, we got a call coming in from one of our favorite guys, and I want you to listen to the rest of the show very carefully and see if maybe that be a route you want to go.
Okay.
If you're not a full-time fisherman, and what I mean by that is if you're not going to fish all the time, then you want to keep your gear durable yet simple, and you don't want to spend $200. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So, basically you want a spin cast reel, but you can't just buy a flimsy spin cast reel. So you have to get something in that medium range, which is going to cost you $80 or $90 for a reel, and or a rod and reel combo. You know what I mean? But it's going to last you a long time. And then you've got to put line on that, which is going to cost you another $25. Because, if you get the cheap monofilament, you're going to like, oh, this monofilament, there's plenty there. It's $5. You're going to keep breaking off. And you're going to keep, because every time you lose a hook, a sinker, and your leader, you just spent $5. Lead is so expensive right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Budget?
Huh?
Is there a budget here?
So, do you have a budget that you're looking at? Rodney, I want to be under $25 or something. I mean,
no, I was thinking $100 just on equipment for myself and whatever we're spending on the day.
I got you. So that's feasible, and that is absolutely feasible. And I'll tell you this, Ivan. I'll tell you what. But there's a couple of routes you can go. One is you and I can go to Bass Pro Shop before the weekend. I have to buy 2 rods. I broke 2 rods last weekend, and I'm kind of in that same budget. So I'm going to tell you what to buy, and then if you want, well, you're going Thursday, Friday, or are you going this weekend?
I'm actually going Friday. I'm taking off work, so.
Okay. Maybe Thursday evening if you got nothing, or anyway. But if you don't make it, if we don't make it together, look at the Penn Battle 2 combos. Okay. And just go to Bass Pro, go to Academy Sports, and look up the Penn Battle 2 combos. Super phenomenal, well-built, durable. Most guides use those rods, and they're, just a little bit out of your budget, but not much. And,
Right.
and that pole, it's a rod and reel combo, and it will last you forever. I'm telling you right now. It will absolutely last you forever. And it's certainly, within your, it's probably about 5% over your budget.
Okay.
And then, of
Not
course, you want to put braided line, and you want to use a fluorocarbon leader on it. And there again, your line I'd like to shoot it to you straight. It's going to be expensive, to fill that thing up with line. But you don't want a backing on this. For bass fishing, you would put a monofilament backing. But if you're fishing saltwater, you could literally get a fish that will just absolutely spool you. And you want to have that whole, thing full of braided line to actually, give you the good fight. So that's the route I would go. And then here in a few minutes, we're going to be getting a call, and just listen to see if this fits in your budget. To the call that I take next. And I believe this would be a phenomenal route, and this would be an awesome route to go. And trust me when I say you will have fun and you will catch fish, especially if it's for your birthday. So
Cool. Well, yeah. Either way, hopefully I bring home dinner for the family. But
absolutely,
fingers crossed.
Are
Right?
you going to Artagon Thursday?
Yes, I am.
Well, then I will see you at Artagon. Bass Pro's right there, and let's do a walk while we're there. How's that sound?
That sounds great, Rodney.
All right, man. I can't wait to see you, brother.
All right. See you then.
All right. Thanks
Have
for
a
the
good
call,
evening,
my
gentlemen.
man.
Good chat with you. Ivan.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was a great call. And
Yeah.
and I get that so much. I get that a lot. And that is such a wide, varied opinion. What reel should I get? What budget should I get? A lot of times you can set your budget, but you want to go, you want to plan on a budget, 10 or 12% higher than what you're actually
It
setting.
always inevitably you get there. and
It does.
It's like buying a car. You go for 5,000 and walk out with
Yeah,
7.
buying a $30 to $40 rod and reel combo to go saltwater fishing is a destined for disaster and frustration. So when Ivan's realistic by setting a $100 budget, which gives him a decent pole that he can have for a long time,
Yeah.
and fish fresh in salt water and not be frustrated by constantly breaking off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, this is the time to get this act together
Oh,
because
yeah.
we're 2.5 weeks from Christmas.
exactly.
That's why I asked if he had a budget. I thought if it was like $10, he could pick up a couple Rodney Rogers bumper stickers or something, decals for the window, right?
Right, and then go watch people fish.
Yeah. Right.
I got you, man. I like it. So thank you so much for the call, Ivan.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Mike, what do you got?
Well, let me get this out of the way
Okay, let's do it.
because I made this phenomenal graphic here that you're staring at.
We're
here.
getting it.
Yeah,
Let's
this
get it out of the way.
Hours to put this together.
I like how you put
Jonathan
the little...
Johnson,
Oh.
2.37 pounds in Collier County Canal on a lipless crankbait,
What?
November 28th. This was not by accident, Rodney. He actually looked up online. Let's see. Looked up the record about 6 months ago and saw that it was vacant. Interesting.
Whoa.
So he pursued a record that there really wasn't a record. So basically, if he
Brilliant. How many times have I been saying this?
Exactly.
Jonathan, you're a genius.
Exactly right.
An absolute genius.
Yep.
I've got a picture of a bigger than a 2-pound, that chitlet I got, the Mayan chitlet.
No record for it in the state of Florida. But
And I let it go.
so he looked it up and actually pursued it for this very reason.
Good for you,
He
Jonathan.
said, I've caught hundreds, but only a couple that I thought were large enough, and I was targeting them specifically that day and caught about 25, the largest one being about a half a pound. So this is,
Wow.
he said he took the fish home, where his scale confirmed that it was eligible for the vacant state record, which had a minimum submission weight of 2 pounds. So you had to
Nice.
give him 2 pounds. And thank you, Jonathan, for catching fish.
Yes. Thank you, Jonathan.
I'm coming there, caller. Don't leave me.
Come on.
Don't leave me hanging. There we go.
So we got it. It's in. It's in. It's in, Mike. You done a job. Thank you for calling Rodney Rogers Outdoors. This is Rodney.
Rodney, Mike, what are you boys into?
What are you doing, Brian? How you doing, brother?
I am doing fantastic, guys. How about y'all?
Man, if we were any better, we'd be you. That's what I'm saying. We'd be absolutely you, Brian. For those of you that don't know, this is what I'm gonna call him my personal guide. This is Brian Pounds. Brian, give us your info real quick, and then we're gonna talk about you real quick.
Well, everything I do is northern Mosquito Lagoon and northern Indian River, and you can catch me on the web at southernfishingchartersfl.com. It's everything's mainly inshore fishing on our East Coast. Redfish, trout, tarpon. Hopefully, we're going to get into some good flounder in the lagoon when the waters get a little cooler. But basically, all your inshore species.
That's what we want to hear. A few minutes ago, I don't know if you heard the call right before you. I don't know if
Yes,
Ivan, yes. So Ivan,
yes.
It's his birthday, and it's his brother-in-law's birthday, and they were talking about a budget. And the minute they started talking about this, I thought, man, have I got a deal for you. So Ivan's listening right now, Brian, and I do not mean to put Go ahead. Hello? Did we lose him? Uh-oh.
Hello?
Okay, I thought I lost you there. Mike holds his hands up.
Just say happy birthday to Ivan.
Happy birthday, Ivan. So Ivan's he's like, man, we want to go to Coco, do some fishing. What rod would you recommend? And here's, I told him kind of a rod that I would recommend, but I would strongly recommend that he use your rod. Would I be wrong in saying that? Don't you have rods on your boat?
I use Penn Battle 2s, and I also use the Penn Fierce 2. Now a lot of people get confused with the Fierce. Fierce, the original Fierce, is not geared for saltwater. The Fierce 2 is.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's the same reel as the Penn Battle 2. They're both structured for saltwater.
And I also want
a very good reel. They're awesome.
And I want to recommend that he use your rod. And when I say use your rod, I mean your rod on your boat and fish with you this weekend. That's what he should do. and
well, I use a lot of Fenwick. I love Fenwick rods.
Yeah.
I'm using the HMGs right now. And quality rod. I don't go crazy. A lot of people, they get a quality rod in their hand, that's what they're going to go buy. It's in people's budget.
Exactly.
And that's the route I take, So.
Exactly. So, Ivan, if you're listening, this is Brian Pounds. You can follow him on our website, and you can find him at the address. And you just go to our website, Ivan, and look there. And I want you to call Brian and say, Brian, I want to fish this weekend with my brother-in-law and I. I honestly think, and this is not me, because Brian, you don't sponsor our show, right? We're just good friends. We're just.
Hey, just the buddy network. That's
exactly. And I think that's what's important, because we fished with you and we've caught a ton of fish. And I think, if you're just going out for a day, man, get you and your brother-in-law together, Ivan, and just call Brian and say, hey, man, how much is it going to cost me for a day of fishing? And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And you don't have to take your own bait. You don't have to go buy the rods. You don't have to go through this whole spiel. And you're on a boat. You're in the Mosquito Lagoon, and there's no telling. You may catch a trout. You may catch a tarpon. You may catch that redfish. And, who knows what you're going to catch out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
When you're fishing with you. And I think that's...
It's what I tell people. All you got to do is show up, bring something to eat or drink, a cold beer, cans. If cans would be the best, and have a good time. Put a smile on. Hey, we're outdoors. We're on the water. We're catching fish. Just enjoying it, and just being out there is part of it,
And if you've not seen our video on red fishing, it was with Brian Pounds that we were with. If you can go on our YouTube, I'll repost it as well. Man, we had such a blast that day, Brian. And to me, it's worth its weight in gold to be able to hop on a boat and not think about it, and you go, all right, we're going fishing. You know what I mean? And then you're
That's
reeling
it.
in the redfish. And guess what? You get to take it home and eat it. I mean, that's
We'll clean it for you. I got to keep the Ziploc bags in the truck.
exactly.
Take it home, have Mom cook it up, or whatever you want to do.
It beats hanging over the pier. It beats, fighting 13 other guys hanging, and I promise you, and this is what I was saying a minute ago, by the time you lose your weight, your leader, and your hook, it's $5 a rig. And you're going to lose that 3 or 4 times. You're going to go, okay, I've got $130 in a fishing pole, $25 in fishing line, and $15 in rigs, $28. You should have got Brian Pounds. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's kind of the route. And then, because not only do they get to fish with a guide, how long you been on the water there, Brian?
I've been guiding professionally for almost 14 years. Been fishing over there all my life, and it's home to me. I love it.
Exactly.
Love it over there.
So they get to pick the brain of the guy who does this for a living. You know what I mean? That is you cannot just buy this information. Because I know I picked your brain while I was there, didn't I? I was like, man, what makes you go here? What makes you go there? Because I pack it in my mental tackle box.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, you got 2 tackle boxes.
It was funny that day. You showed up with some artificial baits, and I came out with cut mullet. You're looking at me like I was speaking Chinese to you. That was priceless. That look on your face was priceless.
I looked at Mike and went, "Oh boy, here we go." So we caught him on the cut mullet, and my artificial baits were like worthless. So.
On the first cast.
On the first cast, yeah. Both of us actually hooked up on the first cast. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's where you cannot buy this 14 years worth of experience of a guy who does this every day for a living. So, my advice to Ivan is give Brian a call. It doesn't hurt to call him and say, hey, man, Brian, what would you do for us, for a daily trip for our birthday on the weekend? And, we heard you on the Rodney Rogers Outdoors, and let Brian, talk to you for a minute and see if you can't get out there and just absolutely have a blast. You get a boat ride, which you can't pay for $100 a piece. You know what I mean? You get freaking, you're fishing, the value of this, I feel like the Home Shopping Network right now.
There you go.
Time is ticking. Call now.
I'm gonna get you a 12-pack just for pumping me up here, Rodney.
That's how we roll, Brian. So
That's it.
And it was just coincidentally that he called, and I said, you know what, with that question, and I'm like, this is perfect. It just kind of clicked into my mind because I knew I had you calling in, and I kind of wanted to give you a pop out there because I know, you get cancellations all the time, and there's I know when Mike and I fished with you, you said, look, man, I had a cancellation. Somebody wanted to fill the spot, and we grabbed it.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I want to book a trip for Mike and I. I was thinking about this Sunday, but I work till 11 at night this Sunday, so I'm going to get with you, and I'm thinking I'm going to get with Mike here. I'm going to put him on the spot. Him and I are going to nail down a day for you.
Okay. Yeah, I think we got tomorrow. Tomorrow's out. I mean, it's good, but I don't have it filled. And Thursday, I had a cancellation. So Thursday's going to be good. These next 2 days before the front comes in, we had that front today. It's not really going to cool down, but the main front's going to come through Friday.
Right.
I think the fish are going to start chewing the next couple of days. But I believe Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday may be doable, but Friday and Saturday, it's going to be cold and blowing. And if I got to put a snowsuit on to go fishing, I'm staying home with Mama. That's
That's actually very well put.
Yeah,
so.
But next week is looking good, and we got some trips next week. But I don't think the weather turns south, I think, until next Friday. Again, I may be wrong. I have to double-check the weather. Of course, hell, it's Florida. It changes
every day. Yeah, exactly right. Every day.
So,
well, good deal, Brian.
But, yeah, fishing's been good. It's up and down. It's when you get a steady wind, blowing in the north or the east for a couple of days, those fish will set in. And then when we have another wind shift again, and it's like a hunt and peck out there on the computer, you
right,
get them dialed in and the elements change, but it hasn't been too bad. You know, it's some days are better than others, but we're catching fish. So I mean, it's the lagoon, Mosquito Lagoon, and the water's cleaning up. So
that's what I want to
a
hear.
Real welcome change. It's cleaning up.
Absolutely, that's what I want to hear, man.
So,
well, Brian, thank you so much for calling, my man. I so appreciate it.
You got it, guys.
And you're always welcome just to call in and give us a shout, man. Let us know how the water's doing.
Oh, shoot, yeah, man. I might start making a weekly thing, man.
I say we do.
Talking to you guys, and, of course, fishing with you guys. You're always awesome. And sorry I missed the camping trip, you know, with fishing and everything else. But maybe next year for 17, we'll do something. Get a couple more fishing cronies. We'll get out there and tell some lies. And
that's what I'm talking.
So.
It'll be book it. It's the same dates as this weekend. So,
okay.
All right, my man. Thank you so much, Brian.
I'll get my. Hey, you got it, guys. Hey, it's always a pleasure, and y'all take care.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Brian.
We'll see you later.
Yes, sir. See you guys.
So there you have it. So if Ivan's still listening, I mean, take it from a guy who does this for a living. When he says Friday is going to be cold and windy, it's going to be a miserable day on the water. Yeah. I mean, it's you know, you want to keep anytime you're a fisherman, you want to keep a watch on the weather and whatnots. And
good day to get your Christmas shopping done so that when it gets nice on the other side.
That's exactly right. So, Ivan, I hope it helps you out. I'll see you Thursday. Shelvin says, I want to thank you and Mike on a good time. We got a text come in
It's so funny. I was just thinking about him because I wanted to make mention.
Yeah.
That some people didn't drive. I mean, they boated to the island. I think it was like 12 miles or something.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, it was probably for him it was 21 miles. Closer to 21.
So they actually came through the channels,
through the locks, across 2 lakes, Hatching Hall, Cypress, and all the way from one end to the other end of Lake Toho, which is 12 miles by itself.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, a 2 or 3 mile channel, and then, you know, cross this lake, cross that lake. Yeah, so he trucked it.
And then on the way home, I mean, they had to do it on the way home.
Right, exactly.
So they had the journey.
Yeah, so he boated the farthest. So thank you so much, Shelvin. And he absolutely said he will be out next year. There's no doubt in his mind, and I got a feeling he's going to bring the whole posse with him.
Yeah, I love chatting with him, and that was kind of blew my mind the way that he made the trek to get there.
No doubt we're going to have 100 people next year. Mike, how much time we got left?
Well, we have time for a couple questions.
Okay, let's do it.
You got time for that?
Oh, yes.
You want music? No music.
Please, music.
You've got mail.
Letters. We get letters. We get stop. Whoa, yes. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Send me an email with all the details.
Another freaking email. Another freaking email song.
Mail time. Mail time.
The mail's here.
Yeah, I'm a top flight. Hold you tight. Get you there by daylight. Do you right overnight mail.
How was my guitar?
Ring, ring. Let's get to it, Rodney. Time is running short. Devin W. from Cedar Key, Florida says, how long does a mother largemouth bass stay with her young?
It depends on the bass, but up to 14 days. They'll
That's
kind of hang around. Yep, and then they're on their own. They're pretty much, well, here's what happened. Actually, it's the male. The mother comes in, lays the eggs, sits over them for up to 14 days, and then bails out. She's not even there when they hatch. The father will then guard the nest. He'll guard the nest coming in and guard the nest going out. She comes in, lays her eggs, gets out of Dodge, and the father's the one that watches over the nest. Then once the babies are born, man, they are baked.
How big is a bass when it's born?
It is literally almost microscopic.
So it's like a minnow.
It's microscopic.
Really?
I mean, it's very, very, very small.
But in 10 days, they're how big?
Yeah, in 10 to 14 days, they're, as big as your thumbnail, and then they grow really quick.
Okay.
So within that first year, they can get up to a pound.
Wow.
Yeah, so they grow really fast. They start eating quick.
Smokes.
And everybody goes, well, what do they eat? Well, they're bass. They eat that microplankton. They're eating the second they hatch, and they're at it. So, I mean, it's imperative that when you see a green lake, it's green water, and you go, that's nasty. That is a very healthy lake. It has all the right microplankton to sustain the bottom to the top. The clearer the water, technically the less healthy it is.
Interesting.
In some aspects.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there's a whole thing there. There's a reason.
Richard K says, what bait caster baitcaster reel would you recommend for someone who has been fishing with spinning reels all their life?
So this Richard emailed us this one. As they all emailed us. So here's a great one. There's a couple ways to go. First, like we said with Ivan, you need to set a budget. To spend money on a baitcaster reel, personally, I would go with a Shimano reel. I have tons of Shimano. I have tons of Quantums. I've got tons of rods. You've seen my rod box, my reel box. And what has lasted the longest for me is Shimano. I know there's other people that do other things, but I'm talking personal. And I've been doing this fishing hard for 38 years. So pick a budget of a Shimano reel. If it's $50, go find a $50 Shimano baitcast reel. Now there's tons out there that you can get in that range, but I would bump it up to about $70-$80. And there's Corsairs, there's Cordonas. I mean, there's so many reels.
Sure.
So I told him I would also email him back a picture.
Okay.
And shoot that back to him and give him a couple recommendations. So I would stick with Shimano. They've been fabulous for me. And I'll teach. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a good way to get practicing with the bait gas reel that's just fail proof. Absolutely fail proof.
That'd be good advice.
Absolutely.
I mean, something to get yourself
Yes.
started.
Thank you so much, Richard, for that question.
Good question. Are there, Tyler C. Leesburg, Florida says, are there any fish bones that are edible? I've heard pressure cooking helps.
Pressure cooking will cook them almost completely out to salt bones. Yeah. Now, once you get into bigger bones, it's a little bit tougher. You want to fillet when you can, but yeah, the smaller the fish, the more, softer the bones, so to speak. You can almost cook them out, but it's pressure cooking a fish would actually dissolve the fish.
You really don't want to eat the bones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've just heard well, I
Well,
don't know if is it a myth, but I've heard, they get.
Well, it depends on how it gets wound up in you.
Poke your insides
your body can digest them. We eat sardines; they all have bones in them. They're cooked in a way, pressure cooked, and put in a can. Yeah. So bones can be eaten. Sure. It just depends on the fish.
Okay.
Try to avoid them when you can. I've had a bone stuck in my throat. It is absolutely, positively zero fun on the fun scale.
Let's do a couple more here. Timberline63 says, "How do you tell if your caught fish or harvested meat has gone bad?"
Yeah, that's a great question.
Two different answers or the same answer?
It's two different answers. Here's one way for your fish. If you open your bag of fish and it smells like fish, toss it.
Really?
That's exactly right. If you open it up and you're like, I really can't smell nothing, that's great. It's fresh. It's still good. If it has a slight smell of salt water,
sure.
That's what you want. When you fillet your saltwater fish, you don't want to rinse it off in water. Just throw it right in the bag and rinse it off when you get ready to cook it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
That's the best way to handle that. So anytime you get a plate of fish that someone has cooked, if you go to bite it and it smells like fish, do not eat that fish. And it's not necessarily it'll make you sick right away, but it's not of the freshest.
Sure.
Something tells me we got a question on the hashtag RR.
Nope, just another thank you. Thanks, guys, for the best first camping trip ever. Randy was the best. Shout out to Randy. That was from Ramona.
Oh, Ramona got that's right. It was her first camping trip. Isn't that something?
Love it.
Oh, man.
That's
first timers. And then your harvested meat has gone bad. There again, if you've, a lot of people go, well, it's been in the freezer for 2 years. Well, if it's vacuum packed, it's okay. I would thaw it out, open it up, and then obviously if you smell it and it smells bad,
sure.
If you got a question, and I've eaten meat my deer meat that's been in the freezer for 3 or 4 years. Same way with alligator. Speaking of alligator, did you taste Steve's alligator this weekend?
I could have eaten that all weekend and the whole night.
Oh my God. That was awesome.
Yeah, because I like spicy. And
yeah,
that wasn't not over. That was a good amount of spice.
Oh man, he got me on the recipe. I got to get that recipe from Steve. I mean, that was absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, if you smell it and it's got any kind of smell of a taint, just absolutely toss it. If you have any, it's been frozen for 3 years. It's been packed. And that's why when I pack my meat, I use those twist. You don't have to vacuum pack it. It's just no air in there. Anytime you have air in there, you got freezer burn, blah, blah, blah. So it can go bad. It can definitely go bad.
Do you typically do the vacuum pack, or do you eat yours soon enough that it's never really an issue?
Yeah, I eat mine soon enough that I don't have to vacuum pack.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's usually within. I mean, I've got a couple bags of deer meat left from last year that's still good and ready to eat. I'll finish those off, and my next month or so is going to be harvesting a deer. I'm going to be focused on harvesting a deer. So, yeah, that's the best way to do it. If you have any doubts, just toss it.
Well, I had so many questions I wanted to get into tonight with you tonight. But we're going to have to wait till...
we're out of time again.
Actually, upcoming events, we've got a camping trip coming up in 12 months.
Yes.
So start thinking about that.
For those of you that said I didn't have enough notice, in 12 months we will have another camping
Here's
trip.
your notice. It's official.
Our 4th annual Rodney Rogers Outdoors Christmas Camp will be happening in December of 2017.
Yep. And it'll be here before you know it.
And we'll announce a date very soon, say 8-9 months. We have Crime Line Chili Cook-Off coming up on January the 10th. We'll be doing. We've done it. This will be our 4th or 5th year.
Yeah.
4th year, I believe. 5th year. Heck, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So it'll be our 4th or 5th year. We love doing it with Detective Barb. She invites us every year. I'm excited. We got some new recipes we're going to be throwing out. And what else we got coming up? We've got...
Well, I won't be able to be with you next week, but the following week will be Christmas week.
Our Christmas week.
Christmas is here, so we're going to do something a little, shake it up a little bit just for that and enjoy some holiday festivities.
Yeah.
And
Holiday
that'll be the
magic.
20th,
Yeah.
Tuesday the 20th. So
Tuesday the 20th, we'll be back on the air.
Yeah, so join us.
So if Mike's not going to be with me next week, I will be skipping next week's show. I'm not going to do a by myself show. I'm not good at by myself.
I'm glad to hear that, Rodney.
Yeah, I need Mike. I need you in my life here.
Yeah, come on back in 2 weeks, and maybe we can all look into Rod's Rod Box.
Ooh, I like that.
That'll be fun, right?
Rod's Rod Box. Mike, thank you for pulling off such a phenomenal weekend. We just jammed it out. Well, this is what we wanted. It was a success, and I see 2017 being twice as good.
Yeah, love it, man. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, my man.
Sincere.
And thank you for everybody for coming out and enjoying time with us. Sure. Thank you for 104.1 for screaming it out on the radio 1,000 times. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for allowing us to be there every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. Thank you, Russ Rollins and the Monsters. We appreciate it. We love you guys. I can't wait to see you again. And as my mama said 18 billion times, you kids get outside and stay.